Hello and welcome back. I'm Bloody Dubs, creator of BattleTech Advanced 3062, and we're going to be taking a look at our starting mech bay. So this is a brand new career, I just fired it up. We've spun the time just enough to get the heavy metal crate, which gave us a Swordsman, and I started with a little extra money because that was my background selection. And we're going to be taking a look at the starting mechs, and I'm going to be taking a look at what we can do to modify them early on for best chances of survival. Early game can be very, very punishing in BTA, especially if you don't really know what you're doing and you're newer to the mod and you want to know, what are some simple, easy, quick modifications I can do with just out of the box to bring my mechs, to keep myself alive a little bit. And so we'll go through all of our mechs and I'll just demonstrate some very simple changes. So we'll start with first guy in the bay, the Centurion, who's probably our best mech. Let's fire him up. Let's see what he's got for us. We got an AC-10, we got an LRM-10, we got 2 meds. Well, a very easy change. So the AC-10, the LM-10, and 2 meds are this is fine firepower. The armor, unfortunately, is 680, which is a little low. So my initial start would be just take off some ammunition. I don't know why it's spun in the background, it just does that. So you don't need 2 tons of LRM ammo. I typically shoot for 12 turns of continuous weapons fire with my ammo using weapons. A ton of LRM ammo is 120 shots, so for an LRM-10, that's 12 turns of fire. The AC-10 is 10 shots per ton, so this is a little low, but you've got the meds in the LRM-10, and you're going to be meleeing a lot. So this is probably going to be enough. From there, I would just put it into armor. Because armor is your best friend early on in a career. And then, let's move these to the legs for now, for maximum security. And then if you want, in my starting crate, I rolled some tags. And so I'm going to put a light tag on the arm, just for a little extra accuracy buff in early game. That way you can actually hit with your weapons a little better. And there you go. Very quick, very easy, very cheap. You can do it with starting funds, even if you don't take the 3 million background. And there you go. You've still got the firepower, you've got a little extra accuracy, and your armor has gone up to 800, which is 120 points more than what you had. If you don't want the light tag or you don't have the light tag, then just put the rest of it into armor. Just max out the torsos. And there you go. Actually, I'd probably do that. Or we could even, you don't want to neglect your rear armor. Rear armor is important because enemies will flank you. So you could do something like that if you don't use the tag. Notably, you can't take off the heat sinks because you need all 10 to work. You only have 8 in the engine, and you need these 2 for the mech to function. So you can't remove a heat sink. But there you go. That's a very simple, easy change that we could do. You don't have to have any fancy gear. And there you are. Easy Centurion upgrade. It'll be a great workhorse. So then we'll go to a much harder mech to work with, the Jenner. The Jenner is very light. Because the Jenner is a very light design, it doesn't have a lot of room to work with. So, also, you can take a fun look and change the paint schemes. Kind of like the one we started with. Anyway, so you've got an SRM-4 and 4 medium lasers, and you've got 5 jump jets, and your armor is hilarious. 320 is bad. This isn't a Locust or anything, but this is still pretty bad armor. So, you've got a few options here. And your options really are remove the SRM, which will get you 3 tons, or you remove the jump jets, which gets you 2.5. I'm probably going to remove the SRM just because it doesn't have the heat for it anyway. So the problem is, with the SRM here, you're a little undersunk, and that doesn't count jumping heat. So if you jump an alpha on a neutral environment, you're going up like 15-20 heat, which is more than this mech can handle. And durability is more important early on. So I would probably lose the SRM and just immediately throw points into the armor. The arms definitely need to be maxed out. I probably would do similar armor here. I'd max out the head. Let's not neglect the legs, because if you lose a leg in this mech, you die. But what we could do is we could do something like this, and then do I have another jump jet? I do. The starting crates gave me another jump jet. You can go with the 6th jump jet. Probably do something like that. Just be, the durability has gone up to 520, which is pretty decent for this weight. You've got the extra jump jet. You can get even one more. So if you don't like that, what you could also do is you could instead go the opposite direction and double down on the SRMs. What you could do is you could do like double SRM, pull all the medium lasers, move this into the head, and then put the armor into the CT and the side torsos. And just completely ignore the arms. You could do this. This is another... We'll go to the jump jet. We'll move this one to the leg just because I like symmetry. And this is another easy upgrade. This is probably worse than the quad medium laser. Medium lasers are very strong. But this is another easy thing you can do with this generous starter career. Again, your durability goes up to 440. It's not great. If you really want maximum effect, you could just remove the jump jets. You can't remove this heat sink. You need it for the engine. You could remove the jump jets and leave 2 of the mediums. And then put the extra tonnage of the armor into the arms. And then buff up the rear a little bit. Okay, let's do... You can do something like that. You have the heat for it. That relies on the Jenner's incredible ground speed. Again, you get to 520 armor, which is alright. And you've got... This is pretty good firepower, actually. I mean, double SRM4, double med laser is fine. You know, you've got plenty of... You've got, like, 13 or 14 turns of fire at the SRM4s. Maybe, like, 12, something like that. 80... Yeah, something like 12 or 13 turns of fire, which is plenty. So, again, there you go. A couple of nice modifications of the Jenner. Now, okay, now we get into the hard couple of mechs. The Locust. So, the reality is... Alright, let me level with you, viewers. I like the Locust. The Locust is also a bad mech. Early on, the Locust is extremely hard to do anything with because you simply don't have the gear to make it work. This is a mech that, I'll be honest, I would bench at the start of a career. Simply because there's no great way to make it workable. The best thing I can think to do, if you really are hard up and you really need it to work, is do something like a med and 2 smalls and put the extra ton into armor and hope and pray. That's about all I can really recommend, because this thing really wants an XL engine and ferrofibrous armor, probably heavy ferro if you can get it, just for tonnage to do anything with. Luckily, you don't really need double heatsinks on a build like this, because heatsinks, you got 40 dissipation out of the box, and that's more than enough. Again, you can't remove heatsinks here at the bare minimum. But, like, this is a mech that's hard to do things with early. And so, this is a mech I would probably put on the bench at the start of a career. Just because it's hard, you don't have the tech to make the Locust work. When you have better tech, you can come back to it. You know, if you pick up an XL engine really early, you can come back and you can do things with it. Speaking of XL engines, another mech that's hard to work with, the Fireball. The Fireball is from the Davion. I did the Davion start, so this is how you get the Fireball at start. The Fireball is a 20-ton mech that is even faster than the Locust, if you can believe it. This is one of the fastest mechs in BTA out of the box, actually. This mech is incredibly fast. But it comes with an XL engine. The problem is it comes with terrible firepower. Machine guns are largely kind of awful, and the Streak 2 is also largely kind of awful. This mech's problems comes with the guns. If you want to make a 20-ton mech and make it useful, I would focus on using this over that Locust. Clicking is hard. Max out. I'm going to max out the torsos. Alright, we'll do that. The arms are useless on this mech. They have nothing in them that you care about. I would leave the hand actuators just because you've got better melee with them, but you've got a missile hardpoint and 3 support. This is where I would go with a tag, a couple of small lasers, or maybe not a tag. Go with like 2 small lasers, an SRM2, and a ton of ammunition. Something like that. Again, your hardpoints are limited and you don't have great tech, but you've got the XL engine. The other thing you can do with this mech is store it and take the XL and put it on a different mech. And then use the Core 220 as a replacement engine core if one of yours gets shot off, or sold if you're strapped for cash. Again, 20-ton mechs are very hard to work with early on just because they don't have a lot of space to do anything. And these are not some of the better ones. So that might be the build I do here. You could instead maybe do... go full-on tag. And then... how much does that tank beacon weigh? 2 tons. What you could do is you could instead do the tank airdrop beacon and 2 small lasers. If you get this airdrop beacon, you could also do 1 ton and do like a tag and like the battle armor beacon, which only weighs 1 ton, something like that. You could do jump jets, but you're not going to be able to get 11 jump jets on it, so I wouldn't bother. Hard mech to use. Hard mech to use. Back to better mechs though. Then we have this Blackjack. This Blackjack's alright actually. This Blackjack's okay. It comes with AC2s, medium lasers, and small lasers. It comes with a lot of heat sinks. A very easy starting upgrade is just don't use AC2s. AC2s aren't very good. I probably wouldn't use the small lasers here. You could put them on more important mechs. This is a great place for a tag. We'll then max out the armor. Now you got 9.6787. I would lose a little bit off the legs to get that down to a nice... get that down to a nice round 10. And then we'll just go ahead and grab that AC5. And then grab a ton of ammo. And then we're out of hard points. Actually, we're not out of hard points. Instead of that, what we could do... I didn't realize we had more energy hard points. We could then just do... there you go. 6 mediums and an AC5. This is with maximum armor. This would be a great mech early on. 920 armor is huge at the start of the play. Your heat is truly terrible. But what you could do is you could instead do, 5. If that heat curve makes you frown, you could do something like this. Now you're at 52 over 56. Very easy. This is perfectly fine. 5 medium lasers and an AC5 with improved targeting is great. You've got 15 turns of fire with the AC5 because it's got 15 shots in a bin. This is a great start. This is really simple, really easy. This is easily upgradable. You could grab an XL engine, and then you could add a second AC5. You could get ferrofibrous and get another medium and maybe another heat sink. You've got ballistic hardpoints for when you get bigger guns, like an LB10. You could swap an AC10 on here. This could do a lot. This can do a lot, and this would be a really good, really durable starting mech. You're at almost maximum armor. This would be a very good start, and this is a nice, easy design. And again, only 8 days in repairs, only 43 grand. This is very cheap. And it's all things you start with. You start with everything here. It's all starting gear. And then your final mech is the mech we got from the heavy metal crate, the Swordsman. This is another solid design. Swordsman 2 comes with a big eclectic mix. It's got an AC5, it's got 2 meds, it's got a small, it's got an LRM5 and an SRM4. And honestly, this is an easy mech to work with. I'd probably lose the small laser. And then, personally, I'd probably lose the SRM4 just because it's slow. I'll move the LRM into the leg. And then max up the armor. And actually, I guess we can keep the small laser. There you go. Just lose the SRM4 and move the LRM ammo, and boom. There you go. Again, super easy. And if you're like me and you roll the tags, you could instead swap this out for a light tag. If you've rolled that and you're starting a heavy metal crate. And there you go. Easy, simple upgrade again. As you can tell, my upgrades are all focusing on durability, because durability is the most important thing early on. You need to be able to take fire because your pilots aren't very good, and so you're going to be taking hits. Because of that, I really heavily recommend you upgrade your starting armor to be able to endure hits. You can try to use the Locust and the Fireball and go really fast and hope you don't get shot. But as I like to say, evasion is not armor. Evasion is the chance to not need armor. However, probability is not in your favor. You will get shot eventually, and then you'll need real armor or you're going to die. So, there you go. Some suggestions on what you can do with early game mechs. And you can apply this to your own careers. You don't have to have these exact mechs with this exact gear. The principles of focus on survivability and, know when to not use a mech like this Locust. Those apply to any career and any start. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. If you got any questions or concerns, feel free to ask down below, and I'd be happy to talk with you about it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you got questions or concerns or what you like to do with your starting mechs, go ahead and hit me up. Anyway, I will catch you guys in the next one. Everyone have a great one. Bye-bye.